I've removed the rear wheel and the chain. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove this cassette single ring, single speed cog and the spacers attached to it. It's got a little lock ring on the end, so what I'm going to use is a cassette remover tool. So that'll just slip in there like that. Also going to need a 1-inch wrench. So let's just go ahead and get it down on the floor. And now I'm going to put the cassette lock ring remover tool right there, and then I put the chain whip on to hold it in place. So let's go the other way. And what you do is, to remove it, you just get the wrench on the cassette lock ring remover tool and turn it counterclockwise to loosen it. So let's go ahead and do that. It might be sort of tight because I haven't removed this in a long time. Okay, there it goes. Notice how I, got some leverage, just got them really close together here, the chain whip and the wrench. I just got them really close, and then I just pushed them away from each other and pushed down and get some good leverage. The wheel is on the ground and everything. That's coming off just fine, so let's go ahead and remove the wrench and the chain whip here. Let's bring the wheel up so we can look at it some more. Okay, so now we'll just go ahead and use the cassette lock ring remover tool to loosen this up some more and take it off. So here's the lock ring. Basic looking lock ring. You can see it has some threads. It screws down onto the hub there. Now this was a single speed conversion, and I'm going to try and do the, like I said, a 2x1 setup. So I had all these spacers, so I want to make sure I note this, because if I do ever want to revert back to my single speed conversion, I know what size spacers I got and how many of them I got. So to do that, very simply, we'll need a digital caliper. Here we go. Well, not a digital one, a metric one, I should say. I don't have a digital one. So just stick it in the caliper like this, close it up, and it'll tell you how many millimeters it is. And this one is, this one looks like it might be 5 millimeter. Yeah, just a little past that, but it's not 6 yet. So this is a 5 millimeter spacer. Set that down. What else we got? Got another spacer here. What size is this spacer? This is a 3 millimeter. That's the width of the spacer. What else do I got next? Okay, here's another spacer. Looks like it's also a 3 millimeter. Yeah, that looks like it's a 3 millimeter spacer. So 5, 3, and 3, that's 11 millimeters total after the lock ring. And then I got this cassette cog. This was a, I'm trying to remember. It's hard to, I don't think I can really read it without trying to get all this gunk off, but I think this was a 17 or 19 tooth. To figure out how many, what size cog you got, you just count the teeth. So going like from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this is a 19 tooth. I hate counting teeth. I hate pulling teeth, I hate counting teeth. So this is a 19 tooth cog. All right, so we got that, and then and I want to show you real quick here. I'm setting down all my stuff, so just so you know what's going on over here in the background. Now, let's see, what's the next thing? I got a massive spacer. How big is this spacer? let's see, this is a 10 millimeter wide spacer. So we got that. What else we got? We got one more. Looks like it's also a 10 millimeter wide spacer. Yep, that's a 10 millimeter wide spacer. And if you come over here and you're looking at the cassette there, nothing else on it. That's all the spacers. So there was 11 inches of spacers. There was the cog, and then 20 inches of millimeter. 20 inches. I'm sorry. There's 11 millimeters of spacers. Then the cog. Then 20 millimeters of spacers. 20 inches of spacers would be a lot. That's almost 2 feet. Okay. Next. So next here, I got a whole bunch of different size cassette cogs, single ring type. I think I want to do, with my setup, I'm going to do a 46 tooth big chain ring in the front and a 36 small chain ring in the front. So to combine with that setup, I think I'm going to do like a 15 tooth or a 16 tooth or a 17 tooth. Let's just do a standard common single speed sized 16 tooth cog in the back. If you got more teeth, it might be less stressful on your chain, less wear and tear, because you're going through more teeth rather than less teeth. But this one looks sort of worn down a little bit. Actually, it doesn't really look that worn at all. It just looks dirty. So let's just wipe it off. Let's clean it up a little bit while we got the chance before we go ahead and stick it on the bike. So I'm just rubbing on the thing there. Now it looks really nice and clean. Look at all that nastiness that came off of it. So here's our cog. I just took a 19 tooth off. The whole reason I went through all this process here is because I want a smaller cog so I can get the right gear ratios. It was 10 millimeter spacer. This is how the spacers go on. You just slip them on, line it up, and the notches line up with the cassette free hub body on your rear wheel. And I'll just go ahead and put on the cog. I did 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter. I'm going to do the cog now. It just goes on there like that. I probably should have cleaned up that free hub body, but I'm not worried about that right now. And then I had a 3 mil, another 3 mil, and then a 5 mil. I don't think it really matters what order you put it in. And then there's this lock ring. And then I use the cassette lock ring remover tool, and you would just screw this down. Now note, I'm measuring the cogs here. This cog is only 2 millimeters wide, but this cog is 5 millimeters wide. So actually, that's a difference of 3 millimeters. I need 3 millimeters more of spacers. Alright, so let's put on our cassette cog. Let's put on 2 millimeters, another 2 millimeters, and then 10 millimeters. And then our lock ring and lock ring remover tool. So now we can tighten all this down, which we're just going to go ahead and do now.